Operation Dan. I am one of your hosts, and somewhere, someone is doing something that may be alarming, and we're going to talk about it. Who else is with me today?
I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial, and Dino, you sound like an episode of Serial or NPR, something like that.
I'm not sure why I did it either. I'm like, Jesus, what is wrong with me today?
I need to go get a keyboard. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Why are you moisturizing now, you rat bastard?
Because it's right there in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm Cole Clayton, and cocoa butter doesn't taste like cocoa, by the way.
Yeah, or butter, for that matter.
It does not. I don't know what it tastes like, but it's not good. Like, you think, oh, it's cocoa, it tastes like chocolate. It doesn't. It smells like chocolate, which I don't fucking understand. If it smells like something, it should taste like something. If it tastes like something, it should smell like something. Something is not right.
Our guest today, he is a comedian with a new special called All My Friends Are Dead.
Oh,
hi, Drew Landry. How are you?
Hey, I hang out with you.
I've never eaten cocoa butter. I'm Drew.
Yeah. I didn't eat it. It was just, like it was on my face.
It was there. A little bit. I'll give it a shot.
I feel like that's an immediate hard flex. Be like, I've never done that.
This shit poisonous, by the way.
Yeah. Cole, that sounds like when a cartoon character is covered with something on their face and their tongue comes out, does a big circle.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bro, this shit says call a poison control.
See, okay, this is one of those things. Okay, so originally our topic was conspiracy theories because it's ridiculous at this point. Drew, I'm sure you've experienced these crazy things. We all have. We've talked about it a few times, but like the best part is like the amount of non-real things in everyday items. You're like, yes, there's a chemical that makes that smell, so it's included in everything. However, that's not what's actually in your thing. Which what was it? The flavor of cherries or vanilla comes from a beaver's rear. That's a real thing. Really? I swear to God. I shit you not.
I wish I could unknow that. I wish I could completely unlearn that.
Is it the poop or is it like the...
No, it's a gland that's on the back. Yeah. And it's like...
Who goes, I smell cherries down the river near the beaver dam. I wonder where that's coming from.
Bro, that sounds naughty and nasty as fuck.
Whoever discovered that is a freak.
Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Whoever did told a different story than what actually happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they definitely were like, well, I was taking a stroll and I suddenly smelled an interesting smell. And you're like,
that's
he was
not
trying to
what
eat
happened.
ass.
Is that why you took the dirt road home instead?
It's called an adventure. Yeah. We live in very unique times, I think. And that's
in these interesting times, trademarked.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't Kansas no more.
When I was a kid, I thought Kansas was just in sepia tone because the first thing I saw was The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I thought Kansas was made up. I thought it was just like the hillbilly land in Hollywood. Like it was just like not a real place. It wasn't until I was about 14 when I realized that's a real place. Holy shit.
You're from the South, too. It's right there.
I'm from Texas. That's different. Like, Texas is not, like, it's the South.
It's not.
But it's like its own, like, thing.
There's the South and then there's Texas. They're like neighbors. It's like a Venn diagram of the South and Texas are like close, but not like
white.
Yeah.
Like you have Southerners, and then you have rednecks and roughnecks. You know what I mean? Which is Texas. Yeah. That's all that. You know what I mean? It's a different white trash. Like you got the South and all of their cousin fucking and shit, and then you have Texas, which is just a different kind of white trash. Okay, like it's like they're it's like millionaires who live in trailers. It's just crazy.
It did used to be its own country for about 18 years or something like that.
0 seconds.
Yeah, really? Like the Republic of Texas or something. I did
not know that.
Yeah, really? Yeah. And they try to threaten that they'll go back to we're gonna secede the nation. I swear to God, I hear that all the time. We're gonna secede the nation. And it's like y'all can't even get like the power grid right. Like half y'all freeze to death every year.
Right here.
So mean.
You're not going anywhere, Texas.
Well, they're staying there. I think as which everyone's like, have a seat.
Calm down.
Drew, where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore.
Okay. All right. So not where Cole's from.
No,
That's a hard
Chris agrees.
place to
Don't lump
live
us all
out
together
here.
now. That's for sure.
I'm
Definitely,
from the
Chris.
suburbs of Baltimore. I wasn't like in the.
Okay,
I wasn't in the Wire, Baltimore. I was in John Waters,
You're
Baltimore.
you're from where they burn places, like burn the neighborhood down. Whenever people get pissed off. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what he's referencing there.
I think the riots
Riots
8 years
every
ago.
6 months in Baltimore. Atlas, keep up.
Every 8 years, but close enough.
I'm from LA. The one time that we had riots where like people cared what it was, it's like a Sublime song.
So like the last good one was Rodney King, so
Yeah.
like we weren't alive for that.
Yeah. Very narrowly by a couple of years. Yeah.
Listen, I feel like that's the hard part about these times is that like you never really know which side to cheer for when it's riots. You're like definitely down with the government, but also that's a human being on fire. You're like, I'm not really down with human beings on fire per se, but it's definitely an issue.
Depends on a human being.
Right. Well, listen, you can't like, was it warranted right then second? It's tricky. It's tricky. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to think of a great way to ask what made you title your special that way, Drew, because I tell you, it's like Confessions of a Murderer. Haha. Or it's
Well, it's a big reference to like hip hop these days.
Yeah, it's two things. It's a Lil Uzi Vert reference, but it's essentially it's about two friends of mine that died, and I was like, I may as well call it that because you see the title. Number one, you're intrigued because it's so aggressive, and number two, it sums up what the special is. It truly is about dead friends. So I was like, two birds with one stone. Interesting title and accurate.
Two dead friends with one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Damn, that's fucking good marketing. I can't disagree with that,
I was
bro.
proud of it. I was originally
you should be, right?
Yeah, I was originally going to call it stand-up dramedy, but I was like, that's kind of corny. It's generic. Anyone could call their special that. It doesn't really show what it's about. Then I was like, wait, all my friends are dead. That's it.
Yeah. Stand-up dramedy sounds like something Ian Russo would name it.
Yeah. I remember my friend
like...
Kadi was, Kadi Assad. She was like, that sounds like a dumb class that flappers would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, the funniest part about this is neither of these two have met Ian Russo, and they know who he is. They know everything about him.
He's like a legend.
Yeah.
Hey,
I know famous people. I'm Alice Novak. I live in the Beverly Hills.
Famous is the wrong word.
Infamous.
Thank you. Pervasive like a fungus. Also accurate, but sure.
Yeah, he's like the thing from The Last of Us that turns you into a clicker.
I almost want to. I'm like looking at the time. I'm like, okay, it took 8 minutes for an Ian Russo joke.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad indeed. Why don't we ask him some questions about?
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right, let's go here. First things first.
So, what's an embarrassing song from your playlist?
Honestly, a lot. Playlist, like probably most of the playlist. But I got like boy bands on my playlist, like old Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. So that probably takes the cake.
Yeah.
I love 90s boy bands. They're
At
like
this point, it's starting to just be like every comedian likes the Backstreet Boys. I think that's a requirement because like you're like one of 10 comics we've interviewed who's with the Backstreet Boys. I
think what it is everyone still secretly listens to the Backstreet Boys.
For sure.
They never mention it, but then when you ask an embarrassing song, it's like, I feel like everyone's listening to the Backstreet Boys.
It's like start to not be embarrassing anymore how many times people have said it.
Like we're hitting that critical mass where it's just like, it's fine.
It's
we've exposed the American comedian. Let's put it like that.
Their motivation is the pain and anguish and sorrow of the Backstreet Boys
exactly,
throughout their adolescence life and making them connect.
Yeah.
I was there when the Backstreet Boys were awesome, and I don't regret it at all. I'll see you all in hell. That's
Hey, they made it to heaven, and this is the end, actually. So
that's like one of my favorite movie endings ever.
Hell yeah!
Like they could not have ended this better.
I gotta rewatch that again. I remember.
Oh my god, we're back again!
Yeah. Oh, so good. Yeah, that movie's like 10 years old now.
Yeah,
you feel old.
It's wild, right?
I hate
Yeah.
this conversation so much because I am so goddamn old.
Let's see. This is the end. Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, 10 years old. I think it came out around Christmas time or Thanksgiving, around the holidays. So we got
June.
some time. But what?
June.
Then I just didn't see it till the end of the year. Then
I
It was
hate all of
probably
you.
how old is this statement? I probably got it from a red box.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How old and impoverished is that statement?
Wow.
You know what?
Not even Blockbuster.
The one thing that brings me joy is that the fact that I always look down on a red box. I was like, never. I walked by one. I was like, poverty.
Bro, that didn't even last
I'm
as long as
regretting the movie where I
Blockbuster.
buy whiskey.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for stopping in, Chris, and I hope to see you again. That's a friend of ours. So, yeah, listen, that's fucking red box. Go to hell.
It was a cool little thing back when DVDs were a thing. My mom asked me if I wanted to. She just found a bunch of DVD players for cheap at a little fucking pawn shop or Ricky Dink resale store. She's like, "Would you like a DVD player?" I'm like, "Mom,
Yes.
what the fuck do I need a DVD player for?"
You were like, "What the fuck? Of course I want one. God damn it!"
I mean, I'm all for physical media. Why not? Like,
it's like having a turntable nowadays. Except for the turntable's kind of cool. The DVD player.
It's not.
I'd rather have a VHS. Like, let's put it like that. I'd rather have a VHS than a DVD player.
It's older. It's older than the DVD player. You
Yeah,
bastard.
but I'd rather have it.
You know what? It bothers me that I was there when people argued about beta versus VHS. Like heated
What the fuck is
arguments.
beta?
I will stab you in your face.
It's so serious.
there's like a Paul F. Tompkins bit or something where he worked at a video store that was only Betamax.
Yeah.
And he's like, this was in 1990. And I was like, I have no idea what that means. I assume it was after it was a big deal, right?
We all used to play jacks at the soda fountain.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it meant to me, basically.
I've run into people playing jacks.
Wait, really? Serious? When?
Yeah.
Where?
High school.
Oh. Okay, I mean
40 years ago.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so it's like I think you have the jacks on the ground and then you bounce the ball.
You
and
hit 'em
try
with
and
a
pick up
ball.
as many as possible.
Oh yeah,
It
I've seen
doesn't
that
matter.
like
It
TV
doesn't-
shows.
Throw a ball.
They show,
You're like, I got these jacks. These jacks are mine. I hit them with the ball.
It's in like movies when they show flashbacks to an old man as a little kid.
Yeah, like to the 50s or like
Yeah.
even earlier. Like,
Uh-huh.
It's just Dino as a little kid. And Dino, no matter
I got
how
nothing to
old
say.
we get, no matter how old we get, Dino,
That's
you
the-
will always be 20
Oh,
years
man.
older than us.
That's yeah.
Beautiful.
Right. It's one of those things where it's like that's just how it is.
You just have to accept it. Can't
Well,
even rub it in our face that we got old once we get old, because it's like, bro, you're still like 70. Like,
For sure. So this is okay. So I had this conversation with somebody else. Was that like as you get older, the risk is like because I'm not gonna have somebody disrespect me to my face, right? Like I'll smash you, right? But at the same time, you're like, guy, it's nothing worse than being like, yo, I'm hard and old school, and then getting your ass kicked by a young boy, right? Like there's nothing
like a young softie.
Yeah, exactly, a young and that's why it's like the only advantage is that like it's an entire generation of complete pussies now where I'm like I can grab your face and just you'll cry and piss yourself. Like it's not
Yeah, you'll
Right?
tweet
So it's like,
about
that's
it, but
the-
I'll win the fight.
exactly right. So it's like that's one thing where I'm like, guy, I itch for that violence in my existence
Hey.
because I'm old, but
You may be able to kick my ass, but I got cancel culture on my side, bitch.
but I have money. It doesn't make a difference. Like see, this is the best part. Like
Oh, a lot of good they did Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
it's more so like
Completely
Louis C.K.
different.
where he's like, yeah, he's still rich as fuck, and yeah, it doesn't make a difference. Like he got canceled, and it's like I also just got a Grammy.
Yeah.
Damn, you're like, yeah, that's how wealth works. You're like, eventually, people are like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah. Anyways, fun times. Yeah, it's weird, but That's just fucking. I hate you bastards. So, yeah,
God. All right.
especially like if one of you ever buys a typewriter and is like, "Yo, guess what I found?" and shows me a typewriter, I will get in my car and drive to wherever you
I
are.
saw one of
and
those
just
at the
fucking
Goodwill the other
smash you.
day.
I'll smash
Hit
the
you with the
typewriter.
typewriter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll smash the typewriter and then your face with what's left of the.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't like use paper. Like so, like finding a typewriter, just be like, that's some old shit. Like I have a computer. Like I have Google Docs. It'll be there forever. I can't just
Here's what we
lose it.
fucking Jacks.
Yeah,
Jax.
I can spell Jacks on my computer.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing, and I will tell you guys this as a warning: is at a certain point, this is how you know you're old, is when things that you remember from your like youth, you'll go to somebody's house and they'll have like an antique kind of thing on display, and you're like, I played with that when I was a kid,
Oh,
and you're just like,
God.
and you'll see like somebody has bronzed it, and you're just like, I fucking hate you so much
Look
because
at
they're
the
like
ancient
oh,
artifacts.
part of history, and you're like, I will fucking stab you, fucking garbage human being.
I thought it was like
hands to get
Yeah.
this.
It's so bad.
I thought it was like when you go to the grocery store and all of the like top hits of your heyday are just fucking like echoing through the bread aisle or whatever.
So I know that like we've talked about that before, and that's valid. It's more so like I think that's very American too, where it's like you have your genre and you stick to your genre of music. It's also like I think it's a North American thing, but it's like for me, I've always just liked good music. So it's like, yeah, man, if it's good quality music, like heavy metal and then reggae as well, but it's like, yeah, but I don't listen to dog shit music. So it's never like. The worst part was where you hear a song, you're like, "Ah, man, it's a new song," and people are like, "That's an old song." And I'm like, "Fuck you, people, man!" Damn it.
Oh yeah, that always drove me crazy as a kid. Where like, especially when you're really young and you're discovering things for the first time, and you're like, "I love this thing," blah blah blah, and they're like, that's been out since like it's a remake of a movie from the 70s, and you're like, "Fuck you, I'm 9. I'm just."
When I was in high school, this is embarrassing. I heard REM, a few of their songs, and I assumed they were a current band. Like I assumed they had just come out. I was like, "Have you guys heard of REM?" And I found out all the songs were like 20, 30 years old.
Yeah,
I heard
that's your Orange Crush.
I heard this on. I think it was where was it? Might have been Pete Holmes was saying it. How Bill Hader will walk up to people and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm listening to this new artist. Have you guys heard of Bruce Springsteen?" And you're like, "Fucking asshole!" Like he'll take like ridiculously famous people and be like, "I just discovered him," and you're like, "Fuck you, man!" Like
I've definitely seen that done with like. So my half brother is 10, and he is like in the midst of that phase right now where he
Jesus.
He's the like. He's such a little shit, and I know he's gonna get he's gonna get punched in the face by somebody when he's like 14, and he's gonna deserve it. But
hey, every 14-year-old does.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like every 14-year-old just a good pop.
I got one of those from a girl when she was breaking up with me when I was 15, and that wasn't a punch in the face. That was like a tearing down of your entire character. Like these. Okay, you remember that episode of Family Guy where Brian and Quagmire go out to dinner? And then Quagmire just fucking rips into him. That basically,
it's the best.
Wow.
Absolute. Yeah. That video in itself is so delicious that because you're like, somebody finally said it. Yeah.
You know what's funny to me is that Alice referred to his brother as his half brother, and it's like I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and not one of them motherfuckers is my full sibling.
Did you have them like in the house when you were?
Yeah, I grew up with him.
Okay, that's
it's just because my mom used this all as pawns for child support.
Okay.
So like, yeah, we grew up together. And like we have that like what is it? We were Holocaust victims, like Stockholm syndrome thing going on. Like we were brothers. We went through the war together.
Oh, okay. All right. I see what you're getting at. For him, he was born when I was 18.
Like, it's a different dynamic.
Like I wiped his ass.
We have nothing in common.
Yeah, for sure. I got one of my youngest brothers, 14 years old. So I relate to that. But
so like
he was just there.
It was like more of a like cousin dynamic almost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For me, it was like what is it? A free trial to having a kid. You know, because like my kid is 7, my brother is 14. You know what I mean? So I've been holding babies
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty much just nonstop for years. You know, so like
That's so I've heard that from a lot of people where like they helped with a lot younger siblings or helping a sibling or help raise a sibling's kids, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm good, no thanks, not having kids myself, fuck that shit, because you're
for
like,
sure, 100%. I got trapped. That's what happened to me. I didn't see it coming. Well,
it's an experience, and then you're like, I'd
I
rather go
saw
on
it
vacation.
coming, you know, like.
Oh, was it a conspiracy? Yeah.
Oh, Fury one.
It was entrapment,
Jake
that's
Paul.
for sure.
Oh man.
See, but that's exactly. Thank you, Mick, for the update. It's greatly appreciated. But that's the thing, right? Like, I find like there's a certain window where you're like, maybe I should have kids. That's a good idea, and then you're like, oh no, like you realize I was probably drunk when I thought that, and that's now that I'm sober, that's a horrible idea, right?
I tell people all the time I'm pro-abortion. They're like, "You mean pro-choice?" I'm like, "No."
No, you heard me.
I feel like what was the new phrase was late term. No, not late term. What was it? It was like if the kid is actually born, you're like, oh yeah, just fucking
Late
you're
term
3 years old,
abortion,
fucking
yeah.
kill him anyway. Just don't worry about it.
Postpartum abortion.
Yeah, and you're like,
I mean, you can get away with it in Florida, Casey Anthony.
listen, I kind of get it. Like kids, they have their own difficulty, right? And the best of times, like, you okay? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Hold on. Topics change. These boxing judges are anti-American, bro. Jake had that. Apparently, Jake Paul was fighting. Which did he at least get his ass kicked, Joey? Because that's most important.
Who was
I
he
feel like
fighting?
Fury.
Was it Tyson Fury?
I highly doubt that.
Yeah, I was
gonna
say no way. He'd be dead.
Tyson Fury. Oh,
Tyson Fury's too much in his prime to take that fight.
He's also like 10 feet
tall. It was Tommy
Fury,
Tyson's little brother.
1,000 pounds.
It's Tyson's little brother. He deserves to get smashed. That's fine.
Yeah.
My brother, my half brother, loves Jake Paul, and knowing that just brought a little warmth to my heart just now.
Oh, yeah. Jake Paul, that's fucked up. He's from Cleveland.
Yeah, the Gypsy schooled him. Guy,
good.
Number one, okay, no disrespect. Gypsies are fucking talented people, okay?
Yeah.
and I'll be honest with you.
They're all fucking thieves.
That's not what I said. Let's be very clear. But
my mom's a gypsy, for the record.
I travel to Europe. I say nothing bad about gypsy people. You're all good, bro. So
my mom is a descendant and a lifestyle choice gypsy. So
that doesn't mean they won't hunt you down. I'm just going to say this is that I travel to Europe because I have a passport and they're all good people. So let's move on. But yeah, no, you can't. The drive of somebody like a influencer versus someone of gypsy origin, uncomparable, right? Like one of them realistically is going to be crying because he hasn't pooped. The other one will feed you his poop out of vengeance. So
well, the other thing is there's that old joke where it's like, I used to think I wanted to be a boxer until I fought against the guy who really wanted to be a boxer.
I find that with comedy. I'm like, I'm funny, but I'm not as funny as some guys on stage. I'm like, I'm just funny for a conversation. I think that's a little bit, like that's my forte. I don't think like an hour on number one, I will smell like a barnyard. That is a bad idea. Right?
While doing comedy,
amateur boxer for 2 years.
But that's it, right? Like it's I don't know. A lot of people are very hungry, and you're like, "Hey, man, good for you. I'm just gonna go. I'll get a job."
I was an amateur boxer for 2 years. I was very good at it, and then I had a baby. So
I don't know whether to believe him or not.
100%. I was. I was a heavyweight bouter, which is probably good why I got out because I'm not very tall. I'm only 6 foot tall, which sounds like tall until you get in the ring with somebody who's actually tall.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's not for me. So.
Bro, that's true. Like I'm 6'2", and like right now I'm 330. I'm a big guy, and I've looked at guys who are 6'8". I'm like, fuck that. Are you crazy?
That's the thing. Heavyweight has no limit. It has
Bro.
no limit.
I was in high school in Unlimited, obviously, and I wrestled a guy who had just gotten into the Unlimited weight class, but was like it was like fighting an octopus because he was all arms and gay. He was like 6'10", and that guy literally like wrapped all my limbs, and then just started using his heel to fucking hit me in the dick. And he just kept on trying to hit my balls. And
That's
I'm like,
big. Dino, you and me are in the same weight class. Like, I'm good. I'm okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, Joey's like, Dino is funny, but he's not hot chick pulling out a titty on stage funny. That is true. I think Cole is looking super French this day. Also true. Cole would look like Tom Cruise next to me and Dino.
I am. It's true. I'm the best looking guy on this podcast, like host wise, not including Drew. But
the worst part is like none of those are compliments. Not one. Not one is a compliment. Just a statement of fact. Just
from Zoomer to Gen X, it gets like just worse as you get older.
I have a way of making people feel good with backhand comments.
Listen, and I feel like we need more of that. We need more negative positivity, if that's a thing, you know?
Negative reinforcement.
Negative reinforcement to another level. Like you lift people up by bringing them down. I feel like
perfect balance.
Exactly. You know, it's one of those. See, this is the weird thing. It's actually in the UK where it's like if someone tries to pull that, do you know who I am? They get shut down so fucking hard, so quick. Because who the fuck do you think you are, right? Which I feel like LA has so much of that, unless it's someone who actually has power, who's like, no problem. I
do that here in Cleveland all the time.
Oh yeah.
Animaniacs had the best response to that, where they go, "Do you know who I am?" You go, "Why did you forget?"
Brothers.
That's good.
There's a cop show where there's a young guy who you're like, I definitely want to hit him with my car. That kind of guy. He gets out of a Lambo and he's like, do you know who my dad is? And the cop goes, why? Your mama never told you? And you're like, God damn it! You're that hurt. That's like, this generational trauma. It hurts. It hurts everywhere. You know.
Speaking of generational trauma versus like negative reinforcement, there was one time I was in basketball where I had like 14 rebounds, which is amazing, which is fucking amazing. And my mom was there, and I was like, Mom, did you see my game? I was like 12. And she's like, you'll get better.
You'll get better.
Bro. Oh, okay. That's,
Yeah, the mom burn is the most painful because 9
my
times
mom
out of
knows
10,
basketball too. My mom knows basketball. That's what's fucked up. My mom probably knows more about basketball than I do. So, like,
hey, your mom should work for the U.S. military, just psychological warfare. Single moms in general should work for the CIA. Like that's like the FBI is like, oh, we don't know, man. Move aside. Like they don't. Everyone knows, right, Drew? Like it's. Hey, a woman scorned, you can't hide.
Well, yeah,
she's gonna get you.
Most single mothers have to track down their baby daddies because their baby daddies got smart and started working under the table, so they didn't have to pay their child support. So
right there, tracking people down. They would have found Bin Laden in 5 years.
Oh, guy, Bin Laden.
If Bin Laden was somebody's baby daddy, they'd have found him quick.
Bin Laden would have turned himself in and be like, please, just send me to jail. Just
She's crazy.
Right?
Like, the reason I left her and the kid.
Right? Like this is where you're standing here going, I honestly believe that it's like people are employed because they are incompetent, not because they're good at their job. Like it's that simple. You just need them out of the way. You're like, here, just figure that out. That's fine.
Go play with this.
Yeah. It's as opposed to it's like, oh, we really want to get something done. You're like, no. If you want something done, there's a very specific way. There's a Facebook group. They'll take care of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen what was it? Don't be mean to cats or something.
Oh, I remember scrolling past it. Don't fuck with cats.
Don't fuck with cats. It's 4 parts. It's very, very not good. Like you watch it and you're like, oh, like it's. But at the same time, you're going, internet will fuck you, man. You cross the internet, the internet will fuck you. Like it's not.
Don't fuck with cats.
Yeah, don't fuck with cats. It's something like that. But it's a Canadian guy who killed a cat on the internet and essentially, and you're like, bro, that's like he was a psychopath. He ended up killing a guy, and you're like, there's a whole fucking thing, but you're like, yeah, the internet tracked his ass down, and you're like, that's one of the things where you're like, look, Yeah.
Is it like how K-pop stands or Beyonce fans
Yeah,
will like
it's
fucking
honestly, yeah.
will like dox your ass?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Apparently,
Yeah.
single dads are depowered. That's true.
Which I gotta ask. So, what is your guys' favorite conspiracy theory? Whether you believe it or not, like the one that just brings you the most joy.
That's hard. There's a
The
few.
lizard people.
That's funny. I was right about to say that. I think
Yeah.
the lizard.
The
I think that's the
goddamn
most
lizard
fun
people.
one.
Bro, it is one of the best though, right? Like,
Yeah.
because
And people tell you and they mean it. It's like, and you're just like,
okay, but you know what I love? So one of my personal joys is when people start talking about stuff that's very, very just not a fun conversation. You just go, "Oh, sorry, I don't follow foreign politics," and they're like, "The fuck are you talking about?" So like, if somebody brings up any U.S. president, I'll be like, "Sorry, I don't follow foreign politics," and they're like, "What?" You're like, and like it's hilarious, and they're like, "Isn't?" Or like, I remember one person said something about Obama, and I was like, "I don't follow French
I don't know who
politics,"
that is.
and they're like, "The fuck did you just say?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why would I care about France?" And they're like, "He's the president of the United States." I'm like, "Okay, sure, good one."
he hit me with that shit one time, and I without even skipping a beat, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna play this game? Okay. Well, Canada's in America, dumbass."
I love when someone goes something and like woke whatever,
Yeah.
which is just right wing talk for I don't understand how it works. But
Yeah.
you just go, I'm sorry, what does woke mean?
Yeah, like, there's no definition.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
My personal go-to when I've lost, like when like they've lost me, which isn't like hard, honestly, because I don't pay attention.
Yeah.
I zone out a lot. When people start talking to me and I don't care, I zone out because my mom would yell at me as a kid a lot. So I will just go straight to like, hey, so have they found Benghazi yet?
They found him.
And then they don't want to talk to me anymore. So
No,
they usually
yeah.
just walk away.
Yeah.
How? Okay, can I ask you guys a question? Before I answer Atlas' question, how long have you guys strung someone on to make them think that you're completely retarded?
Years. Fucking
Oh,
years,
yeah.
bro. Years.
Not
I
okay.
can
Yeah.
make it about 15 minutes if I really clench my butthole really hard.
Oh, I can go like an hour.
Yeah.
I can yes someone to death and just either pretend I agree when I don't because I don't feel like arguing.
There's
or
that side. Yes.
pretend I understand something or don't understand something. Just like, okay, I'm just gonna let you talk.
See, that's one of those things. Like for me, I love it when people are like, the Earth is flat, and I'm like, oh, you probably believe the sky is real too, you fucking loser.
Yeah.
And they're like,
You
what?
believe in the moon? Like
Yeah, right. Like
that.
because
Hampton
the only
Young, have you heard that joke?
which
Hampton Young has a joke where he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he is like they faked the moon landing, and I'm like, you believe in the moon?
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
I have heard
it,
that
right?
one.
You can't uncrazy someone. You have to out crazy them to silence them. You're like,
Yeah, it's
you
true.
probably still believe that the sky is real, so whatever, fucking weirdo. And they're like,
Yeah.
I'm not the weirdo. You're like, you're definitely the weirdo because you're still like, the sky is real, and they just start decaying as you watch. It's very enjoyable.
Dino, my own mother to this day will tell to my siblings, refer to me as the not bright one, the dumb one, the one that needs more work, like things like that to my siblings. My siblings will always come back to me and be like, guess what mom said? And they're like, it's so funny because like we asked you for advice before her. Like
Yeah.
See, like that's
I have her going, man. Like,
up in there. Yeah.
she still thinks I'm she thought I was a jock. I was never meant to be a jock. She made me do sports because I pretended to be stupid because that way I'd get in less trouble. Like,
Right.
oh, I didn't know. I did that a lot. I did that. I didn't know routines so much.
Well, that's the crazy part about it all, right? Like people have these weird perceptions of other people. Like one of the things is like when you know someone, that's the only point of reference you have. So eventually, you're like, they change, and you're like, nah, I still think you're 16. You're like, I'm 42, and they're like, nah, 16.
No, yeah, to me, you're always.
Yeah, exactly.
My sister is about to be 21. I do that to her all the time. I'm like, you're 8. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's harder with your siblings too. Like for me, like I've said this before, where it's like I would at a moment's notice would die for any of my siblings or my relatives.
Some of my siblings, maybe.
No, but if you ask me to have dinner, absolutely not. That's my time. Just
Yeah, it's that thing where it's like you can love someone but not like them.
exactly.
That's my mom.
Yeah,
I don't
There's
like
a
that
little-
shit. You know
yeah.
what? I don't like that shit. I had custody of 2 of my siblings and put them in good schools, and like every single one of my siblings has lived with me when they were in hard times, and I can never even get a text back from them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I think
And
for
that
me,
is annoying.
it's because like I found out I don't like her like on a molecular level. Because when I was in the hospital doing that seizure study, my mom came in and all the lines started going like this, and I was like, "Oh shit!" She like stresses me out on like a molecular level.
I wonder if that's like I feel like one parent has to take that role, right? Like one parent is the one that you not fear, but like
I had one parent, try having a parent who you are afraid of, and then also tells you that they love you. You know what I mean? Like it's hard, it's hard. You don't ever that trust you never grow that trust back. Okay, I'm almost 30. It's never coming back.
Like so often that I want to make fun of Cole, but then I'm like, it's like kicking a puppy. You're like, it's not right.
What I've realized, Cole, we've only been talking for 30 minutes, but I feel like I've known you my whole life.
I do that to people a lot.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I feel like I know this man so well.
Definitely.
I'm an avid oversharer. Sorry.
Yeah,
there's like pictures of Drew and he's a little kid and Cole's in a bush behind
him. You start seeing pictures. You're like, what the fuck?
I have known you your
friends.
You're somehow the same age. And you're still 29.
Listen, I really feel like we need to start doing that with just like random pictures in history and just putting Cole in them, and we'll just create a series.
Gullible's Travels is putting it. We gotta Photoshop him. You know what? That's my new.
We should do it. We should do it to Colleen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not gonna be happy. She's not gonna be happy about that.
Yeah, friend of the pod.
Oh my god, she loves me, but like really despises me. So that's why it's funny. You know
I'm pretty
what I mean?
sure the only reason she talks to me is that we just make Homestar Runner references back and forth.
True. Honestly, she messaged me and she goes, "I think Cole has a problem." I'm like, "I would agree with you, 100%." She's like, "I'm like, he definitely has problems." She's like, "Do you guys see this?" I'm like, "Every week. It's kind of our thing. It's what we do." And she's like, "So we're okay with it?" I'm like, "As long as he stays out of jail, I don't give a shit. He's living his best life.
If I go to jail, it's my problem."
Well, I feel like you'll call me and I'll be like,
I can't call Toronto from jail.
If one of my kids knock over a liquor store, knock over.
Like you mean like it's a reference to it's like slang for robbery.
Oh. I thought it was.
I'm picturing him physically knocking over.
Yeah, I just imagine him like a little Lego set, and he just
Atlas. I feel
it's like an older slang.
I've heard
not allowed to talk about crime anymore. Period. Because you didn't know what knock over a liquor store means. Like you have you're in timeout for like a solid.
But I mean, to be fair, Dino, it's like an older reference. I've only heard like my mom and her friends say.
I've heard hit up
people who were like criminals at that time. My mom.
Knock over.
Atlas, it hurts, man. Like I'm old. You can't.
I really like
up, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? God damn it!
I think my favorite conspiracy theory is the birds aren't real. One.
Yes,
that one.
That's another good
one.
That one makes
my sister believes in that one.
Oh no!
Oh my god, I forgot about that one.
Okay, so this is the thing: is you guys know that there are like attempts to mimic bird activity, right?
No,
like
I
actual drones, right?
believe that there are some fake birds.
Right.
I don't think all the birds are fake.
Of course not. That would be ridiculous. But at the same time, you're like, there's also fake insects and stuff like that, where it's like that's the whole idea is they're short range.
Bro, don't tell me the spiders are in my house or it's the CIA. Don't tell me that. I already have an FBI open page on myself.
CIA can't spy domestically. It's the NSA.
They say that, but they do it anyway.
Yeah.
No, the NSA admits to it. There's a difference.
Didn't the FBI hit up Martin Luther King and were like, "Hey, man, kill yourself"? Like,
Yeah, I think
Actively,
they did.
actively.
They killed him, right?
no. They
But
sent
they
him a
would-
letter like, "Hey, man, you should kill yourself."
I believe it was interagency murder
Yeah.
for Martin Luther King, which is like, I feel like people need to stop murdering for like control. That's a bad. We should
Sure.
murder like people who deserve murder,
Mm.
Yeah.
like politicians.
Can I be the decision maker?
Not in any fashion. Like not one.
The
Not even like,
prosecutor?
maybe no. The public defender. You have to be the public defender for the people who want to kill. That's,
I'm not gonna do a good job.
I know.
Even when I want to, I'm not gonna do a good job.
This spicy, Dad.
It is spicy.
Bro, your kid is the best. Okay.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
does not give a fuck, bro.
And he shouldn't, right? Like, come on, that's a proper child. I have buddies who are staunch on the chemtrails. Bro, you live in Ohio?
Chemtrails are
Ohio.
real.
Ohio
Chemtrails are real.
is-
That's not a
After
conspiracy
the
theory.
train thing, yeah, chemtrails are real.
So okay, I'm kind of dumb. Explain the chemtrails thing to me because I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it.
So you know those trails in the
is.
sky? They're full of chemicals.
Got
Okay,
it.
it's-
Okay, that's pretty simple.
it's more so this is that there are certain chemicals that are used to seed clouds, essentially to create moisture and then dump moisture, right? You can clear up a sky or bring rain. The idea behind that is there are certain chemicals you can use that. Now, that would actually happened 80s or 70s. Paul McCartney paid to have one of his concerts. It was a dreary day, and he's like, I will pay. It was $150,000 to fucking clear up the sky, bring the sun through. That's a historical fact. So it's like, while it are chemicals released into the sky? Yes. Chemtrails? Who the fuck knows? Is it possible? Yes.
No, here's something that Dino could confirm, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that chemtrails really, the theory of chemtrails, the whole fucking ziggy-zaggy line shit from the planes, that didn't start happening until like the late 80s, early 90s, from what I've researched and been told. Is that true that there were no plane trails in your early youth?
So there's two factors with that, and one of the things is that you have to remember that living close to an airport is only about 20 years old. So up until like in the 80s and 90s, there were huge areas where you weren't allowed to build houses or businesses because that's where planes would come through. Planes were super loud up until like the 90s.
They still are.
No. Right
but
now,
like, definitely loud.
Like,
definitely
even
loud
louder.
from like way high. Like we're talking about insane. So, like when you would travel in the 80s and 90s, like wearing earplugs on a plane wasn't unheard of because it was that fucking loud, right?
Yeah, or like wasn't like Shea Stadium for the Mets is near LaGuardia. So during games when a plane flew over, the announcers would have to stop, wait for the plane to go by, and then they would
try and play music and stuff like that to drown it out. So the idea that chemtrails weren't happening back then is very possible, but also people weren't as close as we are now to airplane traffic.
And also what to me, what I took from that was that like the chemtrails or the trails could be like some kind of like
condensation or something. Yeah.
What is it? Like just dispensary problem that keeps that like muffs the sound even maybe. So
that's why you're like there's a lot of technology and history where you're going it's not necessarily apples to apples, but at the same time it's like this shit was real. There's no one standing there. What's up, Paul live streamed when Buffalo was buried in snow and he was plowing and it was awesome. He like got monetized. Like this was so wicked. And also it was crazy. He was just plowing. He's like, fuck yeah. It was like the Mr. Plow episode.
You tell the story every time. Paul's gonna get tired of it.
No, he won't. Paul's a good guy and he's like, fucking shower me with love, baby.
That name again is Mr. Plow.
Exactly, totally. Yeah.
Okay, here's a fun. I'm looking at like
I'm Mr. Plow.
Yeah. Like list of conspiracy theories. This one I did not even know. Earth has been sucked into a black hole. The European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, is at the heart of a lot of crazy conspiracy theories, including people who believe that when CERN discovered the Higgs boson in 2012, they inadvertently created a black hole and Earth was sucked into it. These people think that the world ended in 2012, but we haven't realized it yet.
Wow.
What?
Okay,
the
so
fuck?
It's crazy, but it's kind of cool.
Your brain keeps moving for like 7 minutes after you die, unless it was
7
damaged.
minutes. It's been a decade.
But how long do you dream? How long do you dream, Atlas? When you dream, you wake up, you're like, it's been 4 years in my dream. You wake up, it's been 8 minutes.
Now, my dreams are all a demon on the ceiling whose head turns like this and says outer orange. So
you need to get help.
Yeah.
You need more help than I do, it sounds like.
See, Paul loves us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Also,
okay.
Joe, that's not true. China is on the moon as we speak.
Okay, hold on. The science behind the black hole thing is that technically the time it takes for an entire universe to be sucked into a black hole has not been figured out. So a black hole being created and us slowly going to, it depends on the size of the black hole as to how long that actually happens. Our death sentence may have already been written with a black hole that's been opened by CERN. I know way too much about this stuff, don't I?
You do.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's not healthy.
You know, I just live on a daily basis with a shitload of anxiety, right? And
Yeah, you're not helping.
Just add to it.
Other ones include like Disney created Frozen as a distraction. You know, moon landing was fake. Denver International Airport is
the collider theory.
Denver is a real thing. Okay,
I'll leave you guys with this. I'll leave you guys. I gotta go take my kid home, or my baby mom is gonna sue me in court. The collider theory. What y'all think about that?
What is that? Explain.
I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think about it? I don't know. I know what it is, but I don't know how to explain it. Dino
I don't know what
knows
the fuck he's talking about.
Dino knows it.
There, I do know it. There is a large hadron collider that has actually been roughed in underneath parts of Texas and New Mexico, but it was mothballed, and the funds were diverted to Denver Airport. Also an issue. But CERN itself, which goes through 3 countries, is essentially what they were doing is trying to find the God particle. However, they also created antimatter. So it's the basis of fucking Dan Brown's shitty fucking book. Which one?
Oh God.
Right?
I think I know what you're talking about.
The problem was
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
exactly that one. But
Great
yeah,
movie, though.
it's fucking yeah. No.
Same idea.
See, exactly. To a T. But that's the whole problem is that every conspiracy theory that's coming true now it's because it was steeped in the possibility about like this could happen. So it's like, did it or didn't it not? Oh, Joey, why do you do these things to me?
Some milk. No milk.
You're done. No milk. You're gonna give him all milk.
Let's see. Bigfoot is real. Prince Charles is a vampire. That's one that I
I'll
haven't
tell
seen.
you,
What's the important parts, Dino?
Hold on. What'd you say, Drew?
One of my other
Drew.
favorites is that Australia isn't real.
So,
That's one of my favorite conspiracy theories.
It is a good
straight up,
like
doesn't exist.
it's actually really fun to say to Australian people because they get so mad because you're like, what's the point? Why would people live in a country with so much poisonous animals? And they're like, that's not the point. You're like, isn't it though? Isn't it? You're like, why? How is not everybody dead? You're like, they're like, oh yeah, you find snakes in your bed. You're like, why are you still alive?
It's no different than Texas. I pulled so many snakes out of toilets. Like, it's not.
Fucking move. I don't. Guy, it's the same thing with Atlas where he's like, yeah, we had an earthquake. And I'm like, fucking go, man.
Bro,
what are you doing,
bro? If the ground starts shaking when I go to your wedding, Atlas, I'm beating your ass. I swear to God.
Atlas.
You're going to have a black eye.
You've lived here long enough. What happens during an earthquake?
You asking me?
Yes, because you've lived here.
You cry, right?
It's scary, but I mean, typically they're 10-ish seconds. So by the time I realize there's been an earthquake, it's kind of too late to do anything where I'm just like, okay, an earthquake just happened.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, okay, we're done.
In theory, you're supposed to get under a table or in a doorway, but I mean, it all happens so fast that by the time you're in the doorway, the earthquake's over.
just so the audience is clear, getting under a table during an earthquake is
Sounds dangerous.
it's just as helpful as getting under your school desk during a nuclear attack.
It's like I'm
Don't do
trying to
that.
get off the ground.
Yeah.
I need to get on the table, not under it. That don't make any fucking sense. You gotta get up high to get away from the ground trying to eat you. What the
Also-
fuck? Did y'all not see Tremors?
Listen, number one, accurate. Number two, I also feel like Mr. Beast needs to test out the Wile E. Coyote elevator, walk off, and
I'm
you're
on the
okay.
podcast. Sorry.
You got to bounce?
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Bounce.
All
I'm going to
All right. Drew, nice to meet you,
Hey,
man.
nice to meet
I'll
you.
catch you another time.
Absolutely.
Peace out.
later.
my God.
I love Cole. No, guy, his kid is awesome. That's one of the things is like, is the physics behind Wile E. Coyote walking off the elevator before it crashes, or Bugs Bunny walking off the elevator before it crashes, and him being not affected. I feel like that's something that Mr. Beast has to handle. He definitely can afford it and
Yeah.
like, hire an elevator.
I think there was like an Archer episode where they're all caught in an elevator and they're like, what if we jump right before it hits the ground? And they're like, it doesn't work like that. You'll just get, flattened.
If you ever want to see something cool, is there videos of young people jumping on an elevator because like ha, 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 and then it breaks and you're like stuck for 3 hours as they're in I think there's a few that are like Las Vegas elevators where it's like, yo, they'll fine you because everything's recorded. So they watch everyone go, yeah, let's do it. Everyone jumps, lands, elevator gets fucked. Because remember, all the brakes are like set to like trigger when that happens so you don't die. But that means all of that system has to be replaced because it's like a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh yeah, that's like $4,000. Fuck you, young people.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
I know I hate the world's flat thing really like a lot because my name is Atlas and fuck you for claiming that the thing my mythological counterpart had to carry was flat. Little bastards.
Like a frisbee. He's like la, 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 la.
He's like doing it like a waiter.
Exactly.
That's one that I don't understand because why would the government lie about the earth being flat? Like what's to be gained by not just admitting it's flat?
There's that, and then there's like they're like, what about the other planets? They're like, no, the other planets are circles, just Earth. You're like,
Yeah.
what?
That's the weird part is you're like, every time there's a conspiracy theory, you're like, follow the money. Like, where's the benefit?
Yeah,
of
what
it,
is
right?
to be gained? And a lot of them, there is something to be gained. But
Absolutely.
with that, it's like, what? Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, this was
or even funnier when you see them like, all right, we're gonna prove the Earth is flat with math, and then they have like all the charts and stuff, and they're like, wait, this proves that it's round. No, I think something's wrong. Like
math isn't real either.
Yeah.
The best I saw, and I'm not sure if I sent this to you, Atlas, or if you sent it to me, was on Reddit. A guy was like, the easiest way to convince a flat earther that the earth isn't flat is to tell them that, like, don't you think that the ice wall that surrounds it would have already been monetized as like a tourist attraction? And they were like, oh yeah, it's like the only way to disprove conspiracy is capital greed.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, greed outweighs it every single time. You're going,
absolutely.
Oh yeah. If there was a ring, like think about it, a ring of ice around the world that would stare off into nothing.
Yeah, it'd be
that's a tourist attraction above all. Like people would die to go there.
Oh yeah.
Like,
why would that be hidden?
Exactly. That's why you're like, yeah, that doesn't. There's a lot of weirdness to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Drew, we haven't asked you any of the questions.
Oh, it's fine.
Well, no, we got the first one.
I'm focused on this comment. Atlas always looks like he's concerned about something we don't know about.
He's very high up on the ladder of existence, so it makes sense.
He's like he knows something we don't.
These
it's not that.
No idea what's coming.
Yeah, it's not that. It's I'm a younger sibling, and I would never get to talk, and like you would have all the stuff building up like bile, and then I would have to vomit it all at once.
I get that.
Yeah.
Joey has a picture of the flat Earth in his studio.
He does.
Oh, without him. No, but it's true. Like that's one of the things. Have you guys ever run into somebody who was like, "No, you don't understand"? Like they tried to convince you. Because that one was really funny. Was which one was the best. Like lizard people, definitely. And I was like, I only believe you if you have pictures. He's like, I got pictures, and I'm like, you don't have pictures.
Of course.
And he's like, see, and I'm like, that's in crayon. That's not a picture. Bro.
Yeah.
It's not. Don't
Yeah.
start. Because sometimes you just have it enough. But you guys, no.
What?
No, but that is, like I said, that's one of the most fun ones because that one sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
definitely.
lizard one, yeah.
Those are fun ones. I have to admit.
Let's see. Queen Elizabeth I was a man. Some believe that Queen Elizabeth died as a child, and to prevent the end of the royal line, she was replaced with a young boy. The theory is said to explain why the ruler remained chaste throughout her reign.
Huh. Where do you read this list?
Here, popularmechanics.com. It's just
No, the reason I'm asking because I'm like, these are just fun to read and hear about.
yeah, they're listicles. So like a lot of them are pretty straightforward, like chemtrails and the moon landing, that kind of stuff. The abominable snowman lives in Asia. Much like Bigfoot, the abominable snowman has long been a mythological creature that the public has tried to find for thousands of years. The lure of the conspiracy: large animal tracks found in the snow of a two-legged human-like animal.
Yeah.
All right.
See, but that's the thing is, so there's northern British Columbia, which is Bigfoot territory, allegedly, is like extremely hard to navigate, very easy to get lost, and literally covered in nooks and crannies and tunnels and stuff that you could hide anything in, right? So it's like, oh, could there be a giant animal up there? Yes. It's like, oh, great. In the giant Tibetan mountain range that has Everest and covered in snow and literally littered with dead bodies, could something be hiding there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course it could. Why? Because people are the worst. I would hide there if I could. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I love the there was like a one-off comic where Han Solo and Chewie are flying the Millennium Falcon. They go through a wormhole that crashes in the Pacific Northwest. Han Solo dies, and Chewie, runs off into the wilderness of the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And then Indiana Jones, looking for Bigfoot, is up there, and he finds the remains of the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo, and he's like a skeleton by that point. So Chewie is Bigfoot.
Oh.
I'd watch that movie.
That's pretty
I'd watch
cool.
that movie like now. Like,
I would, and then it would be Harrison Ford doing two roles at once. I'd watch it.
Today, I just saw a post where someone's like, my group of friends were arguing about the idea that Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones again. And this guy's argument was that the most realistic part about the Indiana Jones series is an 80-year-old professor not retiring. And you're like, oh, that's fucking spot on, because it's.
I love that there's like a John Mulaney thing. He's like, I'm not going to do that and ruin Indiana Jones 5, and now there's an Indiana Jones 5.
I remember that joke. Yeah.
Should have put that number further up there, John.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, right? Atlas is a nerd. That's accurate. His entire channel. Yeah. Up next, reverse anime posting hour. We have
city planning nerd, history nerd, trading card game nerd. Like, I'm wearing
versatile nerd.
Yeah, I'm a
versatile. It's a nerd of the people. A nerd of the people. Yeah. You should run for office. Obviously, I feel like that's the only solution. Considering we've gotten this far, Drew, we're definitely going to have you on to go through other stuff, because you're just enjoyable to talk to.
Absolutely.
Where can everyone find you, Drew, and your special, please?
So my special is on YouTube called Drew Landry. All My Friends Are Dead. Check it out. It's only 20 minutes. And on Twitter and Instagram, I'm Mr. Drew Landry, and on TikTok, I'm just Drew Landry.
Nice. Okay. Is it MR Drew Landry or like
Mr.
MR
Drew Landry? Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Nice. He's like the Triple H of nerds. That's accurate.
Yeah. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I'll just take that.
You definitely. It's a compliment.
Okay. All right. Love you too, buddy.
Also, Drew, you know what? If you could, we're gonna put it in the description for the actual episode.
It'll be in the description and show notes and everything.
Okay, cool. Like the link or whatever.
Yeah. We'll put a link to
the special. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll find it.
And for the rest of us, obviously, Sniffing Glue 22 is for Cole. I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel, and
at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. It's mostly just sketches about having epilepsy, but there's other stuff. And then,
Are you related to Jarvis Landry?
I am not. No.
No.
Thanks, Joey, for making it weird.
Yeah. And then you can find my other podcast at Nexus at Night, Twitter, Instagram. That's about a trading card game. It's called Vanguard. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening. At Generation Dan, Twitter, Generation_Dan, Instagram, right?
Hold on. I'm just putting something somewhere here. This is so it goes on to everybody. Just so you guys know, it's right there. I'm posting it on all of the chats, so it shows up. That's the YouTube. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
All right. See ya. Thank you for having me.
No, it's been awesome.